welcome to your enlightenment program of the Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, tagged the Corporate Affairs Commission on Track, where we educate you on the activities of the Commission to all of your benefits. I am ILE EMEJE, your host. The Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, has issued a notice of intention to striking off names of defunct or dormant companies that have not filed annual returns for 10 years from their register. The CAC made this known in a recent statement to newsmen, urging relevant stakeholders to take heed. According to the statement, this is in pursuant to the CAC powers contained in Section 692, subsection 3 and 4 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act, CAMA. And so, in this edition of the program, Assistant Director and Head, FCT Nodal Office of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Mr. Muftahu Bello Babamba, is my guest, joining us after the promo to discuss on the notice and what to expect. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite.
This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
Thanks for being there, and for the benefit of those that are joining us or tuning in, you are on to the Enlightenment Program of the Corporate Affairs Commission, the CAC, and in this edition, we shall be taking a look at the recently issued notice by the Commission to striking off the names of some companies from their register. Our guest, as I mentioned earlier, is the Assistant Director and Head, FCT Nodal Office of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Mr. Muftahu Bello Babamba. Mr. Babamba, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, thank you. In general terms, what are the basis for filing annual returns? I mean to say, why is the CAC telling companies to file in their annual returns?
Thank you very much for having me once again. You see, in the first place, there is need for us to know what annual returns are.
Exactly.
Yes. Annual returns, is a formal record of a company's financial activities or operations over a period of time, for an year end. For an year end, it's submitted to relevant government agencies such as CAC, and it is accompanied by a token payment. You understand, whether or not the company is doing business. So it is accompanied by a token payment, and then, it's not only a legal requirement, but an essential part of maintaining, transparency and good corporate, practice. It's a snapshot of companies' affairs over a period of time, especially in the last financial year. So that is what annual return is all about. Then talking about the basis. So every company, whether limited liability partnership, whether limited by shares, whether a business name, whether NGO, they are all required to file annual returns. The essence of annual returns of a company, is like an update. If there are changes that have taken place in the company, you give information to the commission. Have they changed their shares? Have the directors been changed? Has the company changed its business address? Is it encumbered? So it gives whoever, an investor or whoever is dealing with the company, to know the update or the current status of a company. So yes, that is in a nutshell what the basis of a company is all about.
So when you are talking about a company, what do you refer to? Are we talking about business names, corporations, or non-governmental organizations, like trustees? Those that are
Yes.
trustees. Which exactly do we mean? Or is it applicable to all of these ones?
All entities that are registered by CAC are required to file annual returns. That's why I mentioned that it could be a limited liability, it could be a company limited by shares, it could be a limited liability partnership, it could be business name, it could be, limited partnership, or it could even be an NGO. All entities that are registered by the commission are, by law mandated to file annual returns, because, in the life of any entities, changes are bound to occur. So the essence of filing the returns is to give us an update. You give us the latest, the update of the company's affairs, so that whoever is dealing with you will know that, oh, this company or this business has changed its address, its location. Maybe it was in Maraba, it has moved to Idu Estate, so that it knows where to locate you. Yes.
That's it.
Yes, thank you.
So can we say that all the companies, in terms of corporations, non-governmental organizations referred to as those on trustees, and business names registration are complying very well?
They are to a very large extent. They are complying because, because of some of the activities that the commission, has carried out. It has to do, first of all, it has to do with corporate governance. Providing, transparency about a company's financial or operational status. You understand? The stakeholder. It also talks about. It has to do. The basis also has to do with stakeholder information.
Okay.
You understand? Yes. Because investors, creditors, and other stakeholders use these returns. You understand, to make informed decisions about dealing with the company or a business.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's like a snap look.
Yes.
The picture, the overall picture of the organization.
Yes.
As far as it has to do with their financial statement.
Yes, financial activities or operations.
Activities
yes, of organization.
Whether you are a small company, you are a
big company, yes.
Or what a middle-aged, whatever.
Whether it's a limited by guarantee company or even a non-governmental organization.
It is mandatory that you
file
in your annual returns. Okay,
Yes.
the question to ask at this point is, why should I, as an organization or a company, or even an NGO, file in my annual returns to the CAC, as the Corporate Affairs Commission? What do I stand to benefit? What are my gains for doing that? Will CAC be giving me money if I file in my annual returns to them? Or
You see,
do I stand to benefit from the filing of annual returns to the CAC?
you see, like we have mentioned, so we are talking about the relevance now, if I may understand.
Yes.
The relevance of filing returns, you understand, to CAC. So there are so many benefits.
Okay.
So when you file your returns,
Like?
you see it provides shareholders with crucial information about the company's financial health, performance, and future prospects. It informs investors for you to have an informed decision about the company. It brings about transparency and trust. Regular filing fosters transparency. It helps to build and maintain shareholders' trust in the management of the company. And then another thing is that for credit assessment, creditors use the financial data of annual return to assess the credit worthiness of the company. You can also talk about the risk management, which has to do, it helps lenders evaluate the risk associated with extending credit, you understand, yes, or loans to the company. People that are working, for instance, you find some companies, it also has to do with job security.
Yeah.
If you are working with a company now and the annual returns, the financial base of the company, like now you find out that some companies, some employees have this what we call share schemes, employee share scheme, whereby the employees, you understand, they buy shares in the company. So knowing the financial, standard, the financial position of the company will enable the employee to know whether to invest in the company or not.
Okay.
So annual returns gives an update. So it gives you the elaborate information about the company at a given point in time, especially at the end of the year, where it is. So it will now find if there are changes that have taken place within the year. You will now tell us that, oh, we have changed our address. Oh, this director has left the company, another one has replaced. Oh, this person has transferred his shares to another person. Oh, the company has taken loan. So every information about, we have had situations whereby people come to us, to CAC, and check the status of a company, which you can only get from this annual return that is filed, on yearly basis at the end of the year. Somebody wants to do business, to deal with a company. He wants to know who are the current directors. Have the directors, is the person that I'm dealing with, is he really a director or a shareholder in the company? He wants to get this information. He will come and do search, and then it is only the annual return form that will give an update, all the updated information about the company at a given period, at a given point in time.
Okay.
Thank you.
You have said that it gives us an informed information, an informed decision.
Yes.
Gives us the benefit of having an informed decision about a company or an organization, so that it will help us to make the decision on whether to invest in company A, B, or C.
Exactly.
Especially when it has to do with their financial position, to know that if I invest my money in company A or B, I am sure of getting some dividends at the end of a particular year or a particular period in time. Apart from that, we also have other benefits to gain as a company from this.
Yes, you see, when there are other benefits, for instance now, a company that files its returns, you understand, is most likely the investor, because of that transparency, telling the world about the status of the company, you understand, talking about the financial health of the company, is more likely to release, an investor or a creditor is more likely to release, you understand, to give money, to give credit facility to a company that is filing its returns, and it has shown to the world the openness, the transparency about all the information regarding the company.
Okay, but again, so over the years, some investors have had this belief that when they file in their annual returns, they don't give the true picture, especially their financial stand, don't give the true picture of their financial basis, because they believe that the CAC or the relevant authorities will charge them on their taxes and the rest of the things. What would you have to tell these ones that believe that the filing of annual returns will lead to maybe a huge kind of taxation that they will have to pay to the government or otherwise?
No, for it is actually not true, because for CAC, the returns, like I said, you understand, primarily is to give us an update about the company. You only need to pay a token amount. You only pay a token, you understand, to file the returns with CAC. You know, it's not, it's the primary reason is for you to have an updated record, the current information about it, you understand. You tell us, because in the life of a company or any business, several changes can occur and take place in the life of a company. So many things can change. You know, the company remains an entity or a corporate entity, like a human being, but so many other things could change. The people who were subscribers at the beginning of the company may have changed hands. There could have been new people. The shares would have changed. Maybe it has been increased. The address of the company has been changed. You know, the company would have taken loan or encumbered. Exactly. You know. Yes.
Or something.
Yeah. So when we have all this information, we give us accurate information about you. You know. That transparency is shown, and then it gives the investors or even creditors, you understand, to have that confidence to deal with you as a company. It's not necessarily because when you give this thing, information that we are going to tax you. No, only pay token. Maybe we will come to when we are talking about the penalty for not filing. We will elaborate more on that.
All right. Now, as the head, FCT Nodal Office of the Corporate Affairs Commission, how responsive can you say are these stakeholders in the Federal Capital Territory here in Abuja, if indeed the filing of annual returns is beneficial to both the government and the stakeholders? We want to take a clue of what is happening in the Federal Capital Territory. So, how responsive are these companies to the filing of annual returns?
You see, to a very large extent, they are responding very well, because, now, even even a company may have a check, for instance, you will not even be able to cash it in the bank, because, the bank will require to know that your returns are up to date with Corporate Affairs Commission.
Okay.
You understand? And, you cannot cash your. In fact, the bank might not even open an account for you if your returns are not up to date with CAC. If your company is not active, it means that you have not filed annual returns. If your company is not active, what it means is that your returns are not up to date. So when you go to bank and you want to open an account in the first place, the bank will even refuse to allow you to open an account. And then even where you have an account that is already open, if your returns are not up to date and your company is not active, the bank will not even allow you to cash, you understand, your check, if you have a check in the name of that company on an account that is already open. So you'll be required, the bank will do their due diligence to find out from us, where, to ascertain that your company is active or has filed its return up to date. You also find a situation whereby people want to travel abroad. We have series of, they want to travel abroad with their company, and then the commissions, the high commissions and the embassies want to know whether the company that you are using, on the basis of which you want to, use even outside, yes, whether it is active, whether it's a going concern. Because the whole essence of filing returns to us is for us to know that your company is a going concern. It's functional. Yes, it's not dormant. Okay. It's not moribund.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, someone asked me this question some time ago. He said, for those that are beginners, that is new companies who just registered with the CAC, what is the situation with the annual returns? And they want to open an account with the bank. Now that you mentioned that it is also very relevant to the banking sector, that's why the question just came on me to ask. And so what is the need for annual returns? So what is the situation as it has to do with annual returns when a company is newly registered with a CAC and they want to open an account? I hope there will not be any aberration.
No, not at all. You see, when a new company has a grace period of 18 months. 18 months before it starts filing annual returns. So for that period of 18 months, the company will remain active. it will active, and then you can do whatever you want to do. It's after the 18 months that you are expected to file. That is for company. If it is for a business name, the year that you register that business name, you are not expected to file returns in that year. You have to file your returns from the following year. You know, from if, for instance, now you register your business in this month of August, this year, 2024, you will not pay. You understand? Or you registered it in February, or even January 2024. This year, you will not file. You will not be required to file annual returns this year.
So when am I expected?
So from the following year, from January 2025, you know, so that is when you are expected to file your returns. The same thing with NGO. You understand? The year that the NGO is registered, it will not file returns in that year. It will start filing returns from the following year.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we need a lot of emphasis, because questions on our feedback has to do with this particular question and demanding answer. If you can make more emphasis, like for NGOs, for small companies, and also for corporations, what is the grace period after registration? What is the grace period for them to file in their annual returns?
Yes, for, like I said, for a company, it will be a company limited by shares, you know, for instance, or a company limited by guarantee, you know, you are not expected to file your returns until after 18 months. If a company is registered, for instance, in January 2024, for instance, it has the whole of 2024, that is 12 months, and then it has 6 months in
the next year,
2025. By June, as from July 2025, that is when it will be expected to start filing its return. So within that period, you know, the company will be active, and there is a going concern. Opening an account and doing other things with the company would be done without hitches. That is for company. And then for business name, if it is registered, for instance, in January 2024, it will not be required to file returns until January 2025.
Somebody may also be tempted to ask the question on what is the target of the CAC to filing annual returns? Is it just to know the status, the position of the companies, or maybe something else? You see, the target is actually to ensure that you know, companies that have been dormant bounce back to life. You understand? Because, you know, there is no point having a dormant company, you know, occupying our database, occupying space in our database. So the whole essence, you know, the target is that, you know, if you are not in business, you know, there are a lot of companies that want the space you are occupying on our database. So if you are not in business, there is no reason having you occupying space in our database. That is why the law prescribes that if for an abnormally long time, like 10 years, a company has been in our database, it has not been filing returns, and it is not a going concern, it is either moribund or it is dead, you know, it's not functional, then we will now take steps to ensure that, you know, we give them, the law provides that within 90 days, we should publish and ask them to come and file returns to activate the company. The essence of filing the return, because the company is inactive, is to activate the company if you are still going to use it. So if at the expiration of the period, let's say 90 days, for you to file your returns you have not filed, the commission is now empowered to go ahead to strike off the company, because non-filing of annual returns constitutes a ground to strike off the company from the register. If, for example, a company is registered and then due to some, what called a natural disaster, these companies could not operate within a space of, let's say, 4 to 6 or 7 years, and then they will decide to bounce back.
Well,
against their operation, what happens?
Yes, it is allowed. The only thing is that you know, for the period, you know, that it was not operating, it would have accrued penalty for the annual returns. You know, that's an area that I also like us to dwell on very well.
A lot of people are confused in this area.
You know, because they will, if they now want to come back, you know, the only thing that will happen is that they will still file the returns, but only that it would have accrued penalty. So they will file the returns along with penalty.
But how can you file a return on the years that you were not in operation?
Well, that is the provision of, of the law.
Yeah.
That is the provision of the law. That if you are supposed to file your returns as at when due. You know, that's an area that I really want us to tell the public. That you are supposed to file your return as at when due. But if you are not filing as at when due, when you are filing out of time, for instance, we are in 2024 now. You are expected to have filed your returns for 2022, for instance, and 2023. You know, when you are filing, let's say for business name, now let me take example with business name. If you are filing 2022 annual return for a business name, you understand, 2022 annual, and you are filing it in 2022, you only pay a token amount of 3,000 naira.
Okay.
Yes, you pay 3,000 naira. But when you are filing out of time, you are now filing in 2024, 2022 annual returns, you will now have to pay penalty. And then that penalty sometimes is either it's the same amount with the normal fee that you have paid, or it's even double or higher. And then you're still going to pay for the two. You pay the normal fees alongside the penalty. So this is an area that I really want to draw the attention of members of the public, that it is better for you to save yourself some money to pay for your returns as at when due, because you would have saved some money for yourself, especially in this, you know, economic hardship that we find ourselves.
Again, like we said, the economic downturn has affected so many companies, especially small businesses, even corporations. Now, don't you also think that as CAC, there should be provision for, do I say, forgiveness of the annual returns, or the sanction that would have been on the company for the period the company did not operate because of natural disaster or economic downturn that affected a lot of businesses across the world, especially in Nigeria?
Well, these are things that are not easily, you know, can not easily be proved anyway. And then besides, these are statutory provisions that we have to, you know, enforce, you know, for people to comply.
Okay. Yeah. If, for example, I have a company that has been doing very well and I've been filing my annual returns, and just within a space of 2-3 years, something happened and maybe the company cannot really function as it is expected. Is there a provision where I can maybe seek the permission of the CAC to relax these returns for the period, or it is statutory that whether I'm operating or not, I must pay the annual returns?
Well, you see, yes, statutory, I said, but you know, the management, the CAC management will, when you write, they will look at it. If there is a merit in the case, then, you know, they may take a decision.
Because I know so many non-governmental organizations operating who are registered with the CAC, but because of the economic issues, they went low, I say down the lane.
Yes.
And recently they want to come on board because things are improving according to them. And they came asking, I am not CAC, but I present the program for the CAC. They came asking whether the years that they were not in operation can be forgiven, or whether they can write to the CAC and
yeah, actually, their best bet is actually to
I'm
write.
sure they are following us on this program.
Yes, their best bet is to write to the commission and give their reasons of what transpired, you know, and then if the commission looks at it and then they have the complaint has merit, of course they will look at it with human face.
And once again, for those that are newly registered with the CAC as companies whatsoever, whether small, big, middle, and the rest of them, largely conglomerates, corporations, and the rest of them, and they want to open an account with the bank, can they just open this account with just that certificate of registration, or they can only open that account when they start filing their annual?
No, they can open an account, because like I said,
once you have the certificate,
the company's status will be active.
Okay.
Until the grace period given for you to file your returns are over. Until the grace period is over, you can go ahead and open your account and do every other thing because the company is active.
Okay, right. Okay, we'll take a quick break now and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite.
This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
So glad to know you are here with us in this edition of the CAC on Track program. Our focus has been on the recently issued notice by the Corporate Affairs Commission with the intention to striking off companies that have been dormant from their register, and of course the implications. Our guest is the Assistant Director and Head, FCT Nodal Office of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Mr. Muftahu Bello Babamba. Mr. Babamba, now that the CAC has issued this notice, for those companies that fail to comply, what are the sanctions or the implications to expect?
You see, first of all, there are a lot of sanctions, or what I may call consequences, for not filing your returns. The first one is that, there are penalties, in terms of fines. Like I was earlier explaining, if a company has failed to file its returns, number one, eventually you will still file the return, but you file it with penalty. And the penalty is usually either of the same amount with the normal fee, or it's even higher. You understand? And you are meant to pay the two together. For instance, business name, like I said earlier, you understand, when you are filing as at Wendy, you pay 3,000 naira. But when you are filing up 8,000
per year.
Per year. Yes, that is the provision of the law. And then, if a company now, for instance, like a small company, the annual returns is 5,000 naira if you are filing as at Wendy. But if you are filing out of time, you pay additional 5,000. For a year, you pay 10,000 naira. If you have not filed for 10 years, it means you are paying 10,000 for 10 years, which is 100,000.
This is too much.
The same thing for like a limited by guarantee, for instance. If you are filing as at Wendy, you pay 5,000. But if you are filing out of time, you pay additional 10,000 plus the 5,000, making 15,000. PLC is even worse. Public liability company. Yes. Public liability company, if you are filing as at Wendy, you pay 10,000 naira. But you are filing out of time for 1 year, you pay 25,000 naira addition, making 35,000. Yes. So this is why we are enjoining the public that people should try as much as possible to file their returns as at well due, so that they save themselves the additional cost that they would have incurred.
Again, I will take
okay,
finish up.
Yes, that is talking about penalty. Talking about still sanctions, or talking about sanctions or consequences. Then the file. One of the sanctions again is that if you have not been filing your returns, it's a ground for us to place your file on caveat.
Meaning?
Restriction. the file will be taken out of the normal shelf, and then it is put under restriction, meaning that you cannot, there are certain things you cannot do, you cannot deal with your file easily. You cannot file changes. You want to do something with the company, you have applications to file, you cannot access your file because you have not filed your annual returns. So that restriction will be placed on the file. You understand? That is another sanction. And then the status of the company on the online information now, for not filing your returns, it will change to being inactive. You will see the status saying inactive. It means that the company is dormant, it's not functional. So that's another sanction that we meted to the company. Then we reject requests for due diligence from banks. You understand? In respect of such companies applying to open corporate accounts or to even obtain loan. So when you're not filing your returns, and the bank will find out, because they will do that. When they come to us,
definitely
they will come to us and ask us that this company, wants to open an account with us. This company wants to obtain loan from us. What is the status of this company? When we tell them that the company is inactive, the bank will refuse to register, to open an account or to even give loan to such a company. And then eventually, the last sanction is that the company not filing annual return constitutes a ground to strike off the company from our register. Like I said earlier, what is the basis of having a company that is not functional, occupying space in our database? When there are companies that want to be on the database, there are functional companies, going concern that are doing well and want to remain on the database. So, and then we don't just take this, measure to strike off. So the law requires that first of all, we should call the companies that have been dormant at least for a period of 10 years, which is an abnormally long period. Yes, so if you have been in our database for 10 years and you're not functional, you're not doing business, the law requires that we should let you know and invite you to come and file your returns, and we give you a period of 90 days within which to do that.
Okay, now that you have given the period of 90 days, can we see how many days or how many weeks do we have now for companies that have defaulted and want to file in their returns before the expiration of this?
The notice just came out, I think, around July 24. Okay. So we have up till October 24. This year, okay, for them to file. So we say the period is large enough.
All right. So as we round up now, what would be your general advice to these stakeholders that are dormant or defunct, so to say,
yes,
before the expiration of this 90 days?
Yes. So my advice is that companies should go to our website. Those that have been dormant or moribund and have been published on our website, should go to our website. The names are there. They should please come forward and file their returns within this period. It's a large period. From July 24 now, you have August, September and October, up till October 24. It's just started running. The notice came out last month. So people, stakeholders, businessmen and women, whom their businesses have been dormant and have been occupying space unnecessarily in our database, should please come forward and file and obtain and update their record, file their returns in order to activate their companies, so that they don't stand this chance of having their companies struck off from the register. And
your advice for non-governmental organizations, because a lot of people believe that because non-governmental organizations are non-profiting, most of the sanctions or the regulations is not for them.
Yes, non-governmental organizations are also very important in our economy. You understand? The whole essence, like I said, is that is to know the details about the affairs of the organization. Who are the trustees? Where is the address? Who are the trustees? That's why anything that we even have to do with NGO, non-governmental organization, you are required to publish in newspapers. You understand? Because it's an organization that is of public interest. So we want to know from time to time, every year, okay, these are the trustees. this is the address where these are the objectives for which the organization, the non-governmental organization, is established.
Yeah.
So these are the information that you give us, to know if there are changes. You let us know. Oh, this trustee has died. He has been replaced. We have changed our location from here to that place. And then our objects. Have you changed our object? Are we still maintaining our objects? If there are any changes like this, let us know. Is this information, this update that we are interested in and the public is interested in order to keep you, so that the public is not deceived in what you are doing as a non-governmental organization. So they are also required to come forward to update their returns. Is this information particularly that we are interested in, to come forward as at when due to give us information about the NGO or the companies or businesses, as the case may be, so that we are updated all the time and the public is also updated.
Okay. No matter the level of company that you operate in Nigeria, whether it's a business name, a non-governmental organization or corporate, you are advised to file in your annual returns so that you give the update of the organization, and everything is for your own benefit, according to my guest. And with that advice, we have come to the end of today's edition of your enlightenment program, the CAC on Track program. The guest we have been speaking with is the head Nodal Office of the Corporate Affairs Commission in the Federal Capital Territory here in Abuja, and he is Mr. Muftahu Bello Babamba. He's also the Assistant Director in that office. Mr. Babamba, I want to thank you for honoring our invitation to come on today's edition of the program to enlighten us on the need for us to file in our annual returns and to our own benefits.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right. And to you out there, our esteemed audience, we sincerely want to thank you so much for investing part of your time with us on the program today. Enjoy the rest of our program. I am ILE EMEJE.